Hey everyone, welcome to Gear and Grit. I'm going to jump into these 27 essential items, um, many of which last indefinitely. Uh, they last at least 10 plus years, many of which indefinitely. They're all highly nutritious. There's a lot of sweet options too for morale boosting. I have a terrible sweet tooth, so I had to add those. We'll get to those in a second. But before we jump in, I want to cover the why we're doing this, and just give me a minute to explain why I'm doing it and probably why you're doing it as well, and why other people should do it. I think there's a lot of trouble potentially around the corner, and as many of you agree with me and what I'm doing, you'll agree that being prepared is essential. Um, and another thing just happened very recently that really underscores why we need to be more prepared. Um, in addition to the many millions of people pouring across our border, what will those people do when times get very difficult and there are emergencies? Those people will be very desperate, and I think they will resort to a lot of criminal acts. So it's not just your neighbors and your community and the people around you that you sort of have to watch and be careful of. You've also got all of those other people. Okay, let's jump to the thing I want to talk about, though. Director Wray, the FBI director, um, was on the Hill, and he was testifying before the House Senate Committee on Monday. This was a few days ago, and I want to quote you what he said. This is related to um, trouble brewing. I'm putting it very simply. So let me just read his quote. Even before October 7, I would have told this committee that we were at a heightened threat level from a terrorism perspective, in the sense that it's the first time I've seen in a long, long time, he said. Quote, the threats from homegrown violent extremists, that is, jihadist inspired extremists, domestic violent extremists, foreign terrorist organizations, and state sponsored terrorist organizations, all being elevated at one time since October 7, though that threat has gone to a whole other level. He's obviously very concerned, and he's at the very forefront of what's going on in the world. Um, Homeland Security also published this very recently, and I'll leave a link to it. And I want to quote one key fact from it. In fiscal year 2023, 169 individuals whose names appear on the terrorist watch list were stopped trying to cross the U.S.-Mexico border between ports of entry. 18 were apprehended in September alone. My question is, how many were not apprehended? Right? The border to the north of us and to the south, it's massive how many people are crossing that want to do us harm. Okay, not to be a fearmonger, just sort of a reality check, I promise. Okay, let's jump into these 27 items. Okay, before we jump into these 27 essential items, I want to just cover these important things first. To extend the life of the more perishable food that we cover in this video, I highly recommend the following: that you put your items in Mylar bags and then put oxygen absorbers in those Mylar bags, put the Mylar bags in 5-gallon food grade buckets to keep rodents from eating that food. And then, although not essential, vacuum sealing your food, although that's really not essential for any of these foods. And then finally, storing your food as recommended by the FDA in a cool, dark, and dry place between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, So let's jump into these 27 items. So number one is hard candy. I have a really bad sweet tooth, and I love hard candy. I've even added a small picture of my favorite candy there, Jolly Ranchers, on the right hand side. But why hard candy? Because it lasts a hell of a long time. It's a great morale booster. You're feeling down, you're feeling kind of bad. You give yourself or your kids or your friends or your family some good tasting hard candy to suck on or chew on, and it's also a really good energy booster as well. So number one, I think, is really important, is hard candy. And number two, you've got dark chocolate. I've included my favorite here, Lindt, 85% cocoa. You can expect chocolate to last 10 years if you use all of the methods that I discussed at the start. Um, and why dark chocolate? Well, because it's another one of those feel good morale boosters. It's sweet, but it's also got a lot of nutritional value. It has zinc, iron, antioxidants. It's got some higher fat levels, which can make you feel satiated. So it's got a lot going for it. And I think this is a really good item to include in your essentials. And at number three, we've got powdered jello, which is another good morale booster. It's a sweet, and it's also really good to act as a thickening agent for soups and stews. And at number four, we've got corn syrup, which is another really good sweet, but it has added benefits. It's a good source for quick energy boosting if you need it. It's high in calories, so you can sustain, your high energy at critical times. So a great dessert and really good for energy boost as well. Number five is maple syrup. Maple syrup and pancakes is my favorite breakfast. I love this breakfast. And another reason why you want to store and keep maple syrup is because, again, a feel good, morale boosting type product, right? But it's also full of nutrients like zinc, magnesium, calcium, and potassium, and it's also very versatile for cooking and baking. At number six, we've got honey, which you can store indefinitely. Um, Honey's got so many positive aspects to it, right? Other than it lasting indefinitely, it has antioxidants, it has enzymes, it's got antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. Um, it's good for medicinal purposes like soothing sore throats and healing coughs, and lots of other reasons why. Um, so this is definitely an item, an essential that you'll want to have long term. Sugar. So you can store this indefinitely, and uh, sugar has so many uses. I don't know where to start. It's a great source of energy, right? It You can put it in so many different things to make whatever you're baking or cooking taste so much better. Um, so it's good for on a more practical basis. It's good for fermenting foods, making things like jams, jellies, and preserves. So it's got a lot of practical applications as well, and it's an all around essential that lasts indefinitely. And at number eight, we've got cocoa powder, which is rich in oxidants. It's got a lot of flavonoids, and there are a lot of health benefits, believe it or not, to cocoa powder. Um, it's got improved health and helps reduce inflammation. And it's also got a lot of minerals like iron, magnesium, and zinc. And at number nine, we've got powdered fruit. Powdered fruits retain much of the nutritional value of fresh fruits, including all of the vitamins and the minerals and antioxidants that you get, but in a more concentrated form. At number 10, we have powdered milk. So, like powdered fruits, powdered milk retains most of its nutritional value, uh, just like fresh milk, including all of the vitamins, the minerals, and calcium, vitamin D, as well as the proteins, I should say. It's also very versatile in cooking, just like regular milk. At number 11, we've got powdered eggs. And just like all of the other powdered essentials, it retains most, or I should say, they retain most of their nutritional value. Um, Eggs, as you know, are so versatile that I believe they're highly essential for storing long term. At number 12, we've got white rice. Many of you know that it's a great source of energy. It's high in carbs, which is essential for energy. And white rice contributes to your overall health. It's why most of the world relies on white rice. At number 13, we've got salt. Salt is so incredibly important, and it's got an indefinite shelf life. It's so essential for your health. It's great for replenishing electrolytes to the human body. It's got so many benefits that the list goes on and on. And it's also great on fries. At number 14, we've got vinegar, whether it's white or apple cider. There are probably other types of vinegar as well. It too has an indefinite shelf life. It's great for cooking, it's great for salads, and many other types of meal preparation. It really can enrich your cooking options. It's also great for cleaning and disinfecting, and it's also great on fries. At number 15, we've got dried mustard, great for enhancing flavor of many dishes. It can also be used as a marinade and for dressings and sauces. It's also rich in nutrients, acids, and magnesium. Okay, and at number 16, we've got low acid food cans in a can. And what I mean by low acid food is meat, anything meat related. This is not high acid food like fruit, which have a much shorter shelf life. So, yes, fruit in a can will last a long time, but you're talking about a couple of years. You're not talking about very many years like low acid food in a can, like meat. Which can be stored for 10 plus years, right? And very, very convenient, very cost effective, and should be an essential staple in your emergency preparedness pantry. Okay, number 17, dried spices. The great thing about dried spices are that they're incredibly cost effective. There's a huge variety of them, and they're great for adding flavor to potentially any kind of bland food. Um, there's these reasons and many others are good reason to keep them long term. So at number 18, we've got dried pasta, which has a lot of benefits. Number one, it's pretty cheap. Two, it's very satiating, and three, it's very versatile. You can create and add dried pasta to a lot of different things. It's also very nutritious and also very satisfying taste wise. It's for those reasons and others why it's one of the top food staples worldwide. Okay, number 19 is dried lentils. Uh, the top benefit for dried lentils is their nutrition. They're highly nutritious. They're also very cost effective. So you can buy and store these in bulk. And again, they're also incredibly versatile and can be used with a wide variety of dishes. And again, all of these reasons and others make dried lentils an essential part of your pantry. Okay, at number 20, we've got instant potatoes or dried potatoes. I love potatoes, probably like you. Who doesn't love potatoes? Mashed potatoes. We're talking about mashed potatoes in this example. So they can be very easily reconstituted with either water or milk. They can also be used as a thickening agent for stews, gravies, and soups. Great addition. Okay, one of my favorites, Number 21, instant coffee. I can't do without coffee. And I buy a lot of instant coffee because of its long shelf life. It's also really convenient and efficient. You just add some hot water and you've got coffee. And you can add sugar and milk and all of those other things. It's also obviously a great caffeine solution. So there's lots of this in my food storage. And then number 22, we've got ramen noodles. Um, Ramen noodles are very affordable and they're perfect for long-term storage. They're also very convenient because they only take a couple of minutes to prepare. It's why they're highly recommended as a staple and why I add them to my emergency preparedness food pantry. Number 23, we've got cornstarch. Cornstarch is another, what I believe to be highly versatile cooking ingredient. Um, it's a key thickening agent for sauces, gravies, soups, and stews, and a little goes a long way. It's also very affordable with a very long shelf life. And at number 24, we have water. Water is essential. That goes without saying. And it would be conspicuously missing if I didn't include it here. You know that you need at least 1 gallon of water per person per day. I, I, I err on the side of caution, and I have 2 gallons of water per one person per day. Um, you can only live a few days without water, so it's one very essential item. And then number 25, we've got hard liquor. Hard liquor has an indefinite shelf life, which is one of the primary reasons why you should be stockpiling it. In addition to just helping take the edge off, it's also really versatile. It can be used in first aid, and it also has medicinal benefits, including cleaning wounds and sterilizing instruments in a pinch. And at number 26, we've got red wine, which is often cited for its health benefits when consumed in moderation because of the antioxidants found in their grape skins. It's also a versatile ingredient for a variety of dishes, right? And you can also just simply drink it and enjoy its flavor alone or with a meal. And then finally, at number 27, we've got emergency meals. In this example, I've included my favorite, which is Mountain House. Um, I don't believe emergency meals are a good solution for long-term food requirements, but I still think they serve a purpose. They have a very long shelf life of 30 plus years, which is a top benefit. But there's also a big convenience factor, especially if you cannot cook. If cooking is not an option for you, you can just add some boiling water and have a really quite delicious and satiating meal in a bag. So those are the 27 essential items you should absolutely be adding to your emergency preparedness pantry. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see other videos like it, please think about consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up as well. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much.